I got my swag cycle, right? The famous swag cycle. And I just did a lap. I went all the way from one end down to here, down to the back, and came back. And I feel like I'm in Woodstock in 1969, right? This is just crazy. So many awakened, woke, wonderful people here today. Please give it up to yourselves. This just makes me feel so good. Jason Quitt is here. He's right there. Stay right there, Jason. Kareem Abdul Guitar, we call him. Check him out. Tallest man in the conscious community right there. Jason Quitt released a book probably three and a half years ago and burst onto the scene. And what is important for all of us is to resonate with somebody and find somebody that you connect with. And it's a rare thing where so many have connected with Jason, the way he communicates, his knowledge, his books. But this community has been absolutely blessed with this man. And I feel a little bit responsible because I brought him into radio. I started doing interviews. I brought him over to Coast and Fade to Black. Contact in the Desert, we brought him over there. Victoria from Contact in the Desert, standing right there. And Victoria called me one day and she goes, so Jimmy, who's the cats? Who's the young? We got to do this. I said, Jason Quitt. You remember that conversation? And we brought Jason over to Contact in the Desert. He's absolutely been tearing it up with his message. And he said to me a few minutes ago, he said, Jimmy, I've got so much to talk about. I don't know what I want to do. So between there and here, where he's standing, I hope he's figured it out. DisclosureFest 2019 welcomes Mr. Jason Quitt. Give it up.
Okay. I have to do this every single time. Okay. Well, it's my first time at DisclosureFest. Man, this is like open mic night here. This is my first time at DisclosureFest, and I've heard about it for years, and I've seen pictures, but to actually come here and experience it, like, this is intense. There's so many amazing people here. Thank you, Jimmy. He's also my sound guy. Okay. And I was actually just here in California. I was at Contact in the Desert and gave my talk to a lot of people as well. And I find that just coming up and sharing who I am, my experiences, and what I've learned is very valuable for people to hear that there are people like myself and millions of others on this planet that actually have these experiences and go through certain things in life. So I'll start with saying that I'm a lifetime experiencer. Who else here is an experiencer? I'm pretty sure every single person here is an experiencer. Okay. What this means is that from a very early age, I started to have different phenomenon happen to me. So when I was very, very young, maybe about between 3 to 5 years old, I started to have past life memories come back to me. And I thought that was completely normal. I didn't understand it because when you have past life memories come back, it wasn't happy memories. For some reason, it was end of life memories. It's almost like you go back and you see the end of a lifetime and how you die, how you felt, and all the people that you were connected with. So these things started to happen to me, and a lot of them were actually very tragic and scary. And when you're a little child, obviously these things are going to affect you. So you run to your parents and you say, "Mom, Dad, I just had this dream where this happened to me." And they say, "Well, those are called nightmares." And every person on the planet has nightmares. So I understood that my experiences were actually nightmares. Now, I was one of these children that I could not go to sleep at night until I closed the closet door in front of my bed. Okay? Had to. Because at nighttime, this closet door would just open by itself. And this happens to me all the time in that house growing up. And when the closet would open, there would be a shadow, like a perfect being shadow, standing in the closet looking at me. And I remember at night just pulling the covers up and hoping it would go away. But this being, whatever this shadow was, at nighttime would take me out of my body. And we'd go on journeys. And the only way I could describe it was a type of time travel. Because when you leave your body, suddenly you look out the window and it's not the backyard you remember. It's a different scene. And so behind my house there was a park, but when I would leave my body, when this being would take me out and I'd look out into the field, it was like a farm field with corn or some type of agriculture. And then this shadow would take me down into the basement and show me a coffin and open it up and show me a body in it. And in my interpretation was this thing, whatever it was trying to show me that it used to live here and it died here. And it was trying to show me its time when it lived. And I kind of kept this gift open my whole life where spirits would come to me, and it's always at nighttime. And it always scares you. You never ever get used to this. Like, I'll just quickly tell a story. I was sleeping over at my now wife's parents' house, and I feel something pulling the covers at night. And I open my eyes, and there's a little girl with blonde hair at the end of the bed pulling the covers. But her face was cut up and she was bleeding. Like, her face was really messed up. This scared me so much, right? It's like a horror movie. So, I'm screaming, get out of here, kicking the covers. And I calm myself down and I realize I'm the asshole in this situation. There is some spirit, some ghost, or some child that's coming for me for some help. So I had to calm my heart down. I open my eyes again, and the girl is still there at the foot of the bed. And I say, it's okay. We're going to work with you and open these portals for you so you can go to where you need to go. And you see it happen in front of you, and suddenly it goes. So many events like this have happened to me over my life that it's just completely normal now, even though I still get scared because you really just want to sleep at night. And many people will say, well, Jason, is this a dream? Are you dreaming? I say, no, I was dreaming. And these things pull you out of your dreams to wake you up. And you're not physically awake. This is what I want everybody to know. You are not physically awake in these situations. You are in a different state of consciousness and awareness. It's called the astral self or astral body. And everybody has this body to them. So I'll explain a little bit how well, actually, I'll go back a little. When I was 11 years old, I went to a new school, and I didn't know anybody. And there was a boy there, and they were popular. I didn't have any friends. And when I saw this guy, I got all these memories of a lifetime that I shared with this person. And I was 11 years old when this happened. And I was so excited to see this kid again. He's never seen me before. I ran right up to him. I said, don't you remember me? Don't you remember who I am? They're like, no. I killed you in a past life. You don't remember me? And then I was 11 years old. I realized that maybe people didn't see the world like I saw the world. And then that's when everything kind of shut down. And I totally just lived a completely normal childhood. Nothing really happened. Went to school, went to college, opened a recording studio in my early 20s. And then things started to happen again. And this happened in my early 20s. I started to have these experiences at night called sleep paralysis. I know a majority of you in this audience. Who has had sleep paralysis? And I was just having a conversation with you about this. Do you know what sleep paralysis is? It's the first stage of astral projection. That's what sleep paralysis is. And it is terrifying. I'm not going to tell you it's not terrifying, because you wake up in the middle of the night, your consciousness, your mind is completely awake and aware, but your body is asleep. So you're basically yelling and screaming inside your own mind to wake up, to move a finger, to snap out of it. And it's a very, very strange experience. What's even stranger is I started to feel things walking around my room in that state. So imagine you're frozen in your bed, you're paralyzed, you're screaming in your head to wake up, and you feel something walk around your room. And sometimes even sit on the edge of your bed and you feel the bed go down. What does your mind go to? Alien abduction, demons. And I'm not a religious person. I wasn't brought up in any religious household, but I started to pray right away, because you don't know what else to do, because nobody teaches you about these things. Nobody teaches you. So I had to kind of figure it out on my own. One night, I'm feeling the presence in the room. I'm frozen, can't move. And here's another really strange sensation. When you are in sleep paralysis, it's like you have another body in your body. It's very strange. It's like your body is a tomb, like a sarcophagus, and you're actually able to move an other body inside your own body. It's very strange. So you're like struggling inside to wake up, and you have this movement of another body within you. It's kind of like a Russian doll thing. And I pushed so hard to wake myself up that I popped myself out of my body in my early 20s, and I had my first out-of-body experience, which is identical to what people describe as a near-death experience. So now I'm out of my body. I see myself laying down in the bed, and that's really not fun to see. In fact, I was laying completely straight and my eyes were wide open. Very scary. And at that moment, I knew this wasn't a dream. The only way I could describe it is at that exact moment, it was like this was the dream. It was like suddenly you wake up and you're like, damn, there is consciousness after death. It's like it happens instantly. It's more real than life itself. It's the only way I could describe it. And then I see something standing at the end of my bed, which was a very tall being, got to be like 8 foot tall, and it looked exactly like a Grim Reaper. It's just like a shadow. It just looks like a Grim Reaper. It's the best way to describe it. So what do you think? When you're out of your body, you see yourself laying in the bed, you're above your body, and you see something in the room that looks like a Grim Reaper. We've been programmed to think, damn, I'm dead. I just killed myself, I'm dead. And it shook me so hard, it scared me so hard that I got sucked back in my body and woke up. And from that moment forward, it's like everything in my life changed, because I knew what it felt like. There's a feeling, there's a sensation, there's a sound to everything. And I went through that process, and I know what that felt like. So I found myself going to sleep at night, and as you go to sleep, there's actually stages to go to sleep. And I found that between waking and dreaming, there's this little window where the body puts itself in sleep paralysis, because you don't want to be sleepwalking at night, so the body shuts down. But if you have the awareness of the stages of going to sleep, right when you hit that window and the body shuts down into that sleep paralysis state, I'm like, I'm out of here. So I start wiggling and pushing myself and willing myself out to come out, and I started to get good at it. So I started to learn how to push myself out of my body and have these experiences, because I don't know if it's just my personality, but once you get a taste of it, it's like you have this curiosity where it's like, I have to do this again. I have to feel that again. It's something very strange, but completely natural. It's like another part of yourself that you've just discovered. So I started to come out and just hang around the bedroom. I got confident enough to actually go outside the bedroom, just travel around outside the body at night. And then something very strange started to happen. I started to get visitations from other beings. That was the next thing that started happening. And the visitations were extreme. They never talked to me. They never said a word to me. They looked like, you ever see the movie Predator? You know, where they have like the camouflage on? So it's like you can see the outline and the shimmer, but you can't actually see the being. So that's what these beings look like to me. And I would just be dreaming at night. I'd be sleeping and dreaming, and they would just come and rip me out of my body. Just come and take me. And we would shoot up into outer space. And it's very similar to like the Google Maps thing where you zoom up into outer space. So you get shot up into outer space, and then they would direct me to a place on the planet and then put me back down there. So I'd be dropped off on the Earth, and I immediately realized that what I was experiencing on this Earth was not the Earth that I recognized at all. It was like what you see in movies of like Armageddon or end time things. Like very horrific things. And they drop you off there. You get to experience the environment. Then they pick you back up. You go back into outer space, and then back down through the roof into my body, and I wake up. So for me, this was like, the only way I could describe it is astral time travel. And I know a lot about abduction cases. But all these abduction cases they talk about with aliens, they talk about taking your body. My body has never been taken. My astral body was taken. So I'm sleeping in bed even though I'm being taken on these journeys, which is very, very strange. And if you've never been taken out of your body before, it's almost indistinguishable from life. In fact, it's hyper real. It's hyper real. So if you've never been out of your body before and you're taken by some being, you will for sure think that it's a physical experience. But they're really taking your consciousness or astral body. And I'm sure there are some rare cases of physical abduction, but I would say mostly is the spiritual astral abduction. So I didn't like my new gift. I really didn't. I really just wanted to sleep and dream. So I would actually pray like every single night to stop. I don't want this. I don't want to see this. It's too much for me. Please stop taking me. And it did. They stopped. But then new beings came. And these beings, they look like, you can't see their face, but they wear like a Jedi's knight's robe. Like it just looks like a brown robe with like a shadow face, so you can't see them. But they speak to you telepathically, and they use your voice. I don't know if anybody's had telepathic communication before, but it's your voice in your head. So it's them talking to you using your voice. Has anybody experienced that? Jeez, of course. All right. We're in the right place. You could all hear me pretty good, right? Okay, good. Good. So what did I just say? Oh, telepathic, yes. So this being started to speak to me, and the whole story changed. It said to me, before you can do what you have to do in life and become who you're going to become, you have to heal yourself. That's what these beings started to tell me. You have to heal yourself. Now, what do you do when some being says to you that you have to heal? It automatically I automatically thought I was sick and dying. It's like, damn, I have to go to the doctor. These beings are telling me I'm really sick. I need to heal. So I went to the doctors. I got blood tests. I got everything done. I even had like ultrasound on my stomach. And they said to me, Jason, you're not only healthy, you're more healthy than a normal person. And I said, how can this be? I mean, I have, at the time I had IBS, which was like any food I ate made me sick. I was about 140 pounds at 6'5", so I was 50 pounds lighter than I am right now, and I'm still skinny. So I was skin and bones. I was dyslexic, stuttered terribly, and I had obviously sleeping problems. So I wasn't doing well, but the doctors are telling me that I'm like really good. And I say, so doctor, what's wrong with me? And he says, well, you're stressed. You're very stressed. And I'm not. I'm not stressed at all. So I knew that my answer was not in traditional medicine. So then I asked these beings, I don't know what to do. You keep telling me to heal myself. What can I do? And they led me into something called Qigong. Have we all heard about Qigong? Yeah? Okay, good. At the time, people didn't even know what Reiki was. So we talk about DisclosureFest. When I started my journey, there wasn't YouTube. I couldn't research this. There was, when I would say to somebody Qigong or Reiki, they'd look at you like, what are you talking about? Now I could walk down the street and grab a stranger and say, have you heard about Reiki? And they'll be like, yeah, my cousin does Reiki. 20 plus years ago, no one knew about this stuff. So I started to practice Qigong, and I learned a traditional method called Qi Lao Qigong, and I practiced it for years. And what I found very interesting is that I didn't feel anything. Okay? Most people want to do these things to feel something. I didn't feel a thing. It took a year of practice, probably more than a year of practice of doing the postures of Qigong to actually feel energy. And what it was when you put your hands together like this, and I've never lost this, it's always with you. When you put your hands together, it feels like there's a ball there, like you're holding a ball. And it's like right when I hold the ball, I start to feel this intense heat starting to come through my meridians into my stomach. Just by doing this, I can start feeling that. And it feels like two magnets repelling each other. That's what the sensation is when you do this. So I feel this all the time now, and that happened after about a year of doing Qigong. So I finally realized that, okay, we have a physical body that we have to nurture with food and good water, sun, but we have an energetic body that actually needs energy, Qi energy, to heal and grow and strengthen that other body we have. Because one of the biggest messages they were telling me is that there's no such thing as protection. Okay, this is a weird thing to say. There's no such thing as protection because when the energy field is weak, you can put a Band-Aid on it, but you can still have things pulling at your energy and manipulating. But if you strengthen your energy field, those things cannot pull at you and manipulate you. So the greatest protection that you have is actually strengthening your own energetic fields. Okay, yes, we could use crystals, like I'm even wearing crystals right now, to boost our electromagnetic field, to strengthen our energy, to move energy, but really, we have the best tool in the world, which is the physical body, and once we know how to use it, we could build these energetic fields up to strengthen ourselves. Because what I found out also is that when you leave your body, it actually takes a tremendous amount of energy. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to leave your body. So when you leave your body at first, when you wake up the next day, you're extremely tired. In fact, sometimes you're more tired than when you went to sleep the night before. So you have to recharge these spiritual energetic batteries. And the way that I was taught was the connection using Qigong to strengthen and build to get this energy back. All right, so I started to practice for a couple years, and I started to get very good at it. I used to play with energy, and what I mean by play with energy is you could put like a candle up in your room, and you'll stand in front of it. You'll bring the energy up, and you'll go like this, and you'll watch the flame like really flicker, and then if you really wanted to like just get that candle out, you could, with the intention and the energy, the candle will extinguish. And then what you do is you take a step back, and then you do it again. So you start to like strengthen and charge yourself to a way where you can start to feel and use these energies, and you could build these energetic fields up so strong that, for example, in Qigong, there's this posture in Qigong. And in traditional Qigong, to pass the first test, you basically have to stand like this for a couple hours. I don't know if you've done this in Qigong. Not for a couple hours. Because you can't. The muscles, right? So the whole point of Qigong is to bypass the muscles. So you're building these energy spheres around the body that are so dense that you're actually like leaning back on these energy bubbles like a cushion. So you could just build it up, and so I would just sit in my room for hours just holding it and building it up and like just sitting back and getting a thing behind me and just kind of moving back and then practicing trying to raise a leg while you're doing it. This was before I broke my back, by the way, but that's another story. So there's these amazing things that we could achieve with the human body that we're not taught about. We're really not taught about. And we are a multi-dimensional being. Okay, so this is what I feel is true disclosure. True disclosure is we're a multi-dimensional being. We live multiple lives in multiple universes in time. There's no such thing as past life or future life. It's all happening right now. And we have access to it. We actually have access to it. And we can actually leave our bodies, visit ourselves in past lives, visit ourselves in future lives. In fact, this is a very, very strange experience, and I hope somebody here has experienced this too. But you leave your body and go to another timeline or world to be there for yourself that's dying there. Has anybody experienced that? You experienced that? That's awesome. Okay. It starts to happen where it's like you start to have a connection to your other selves. And sometimes you'll be called to those other selves in times of need or to help them transition. It's very, like what I'm talking about is really crazy, right? But this is what I've learned. And it just happens natural. I believe that nothing that I'm saying is not natural. This is the human condition. This is how we operate naturally, but we've never been taught about it and kind of been suppressed with this type of knowledge where it's very taboo. You know, I get emails and Facebook messages and Twitter messages all the time saying, "You're going to hell for talking about this. You know, say this, say that, pray because you're a lost cause, buddy." So there's this kind of natural programming that comes into place once we're starting to experience things that we're not really allowed to experience, I guess. So in 2007, I was walking through this health show, and there was a booth there with a stone called shungite. It's a Russian black stone. And at this booth, there was pictures of pharaohs, statues of pharaohs, and they were holding these cylinders in their hands. And you know when you get like that tunnel vision, you feel that pull? I was like really pulled into this picture of this pharaoh, and I never realized they were holding something. So the gentleman at the booth handed me these rods. He goes, "Here, feel these." And I grabbed them, And right when I grab these rods, I can feel that warm energy go right through my meridians and right into my stomach. And I could just feel myself charging. And I knew this very well because of my Qigong practice. But it usually took me like a half an hour to feel this. This I just touched, and it just went right to the Qigong, the energy. I'm like, man, there is something to this. So I bought these cylinders, I brought them home, and I started to practice. And when I mean practice was I didn't do anything. I just held them, I laid in bed, I meditated. I didn't do anything with these rods. But it did something to me. I started to go on these other types of journeys, and at nighttime I would be taken back, I would just say in time, to Egypt. I'd be in a temple with a person that looks just like a statue, standing there in a posture, just like the Egyptian statues. And I would stand in front of this person, and I would just copy their posture. And as I did that, it felt like this thing opened up above my head. And the only way I could describe what it feels like the sensation of a waterfall coming down from the top, going into every cell of the body, but it wasn't water. It felt like photons. It felt like heat, the tingling heat coming through your body. And it was so powerful that the body would vibrate. And I would wake up in my bedroom from these experiences in the pose in my bed, still vibrating. I could still feel it going through my body. And then when I would break the pose, it would shut off. So this is when I started to really get into energy and really get into how it works. And what I've learned is amazing. Do you know that every life form, humans, grass, animals, gods, beings, entities, whatever you want to call them, they have access to something called chi, or in Egyptian it's called ka, or prana. It's all the same word for the same thing, ki in Japanese. We have unlimited access to this energy source, and everything uses it. And it's literally the life force energy that animates us and makes us healthy. It heals us. We need it. We really just need it. And when we start to tune into this Ka energy, it fills us with this light. It strengthens our electromagnetic fields, and we can actually use it and project it. We can actually focus this energy, and we can give it to people just by learning how to use it. And I think at the end of this, the way I'm going to finish it is I'm going to teach you how to feel energy, how to receive this energy. And the amazing thing is, you don't have to intend this to happen. You know how a lot of meditations, it's intention? You don't have any intentions on this, because this is just how we work. This is completely natural. It's how we work. We just have to allow it to work. And like I said earlier, a year and a half ago, less than a year and a half ago, I broke my back in 3 places. All right? When I went to see the doctor said to me that when he sees this type of injury, you're either a paraplegic or you're dead. You know? 3 months after the accident, I hiked up a mountain in Japan. 3 months after I broke my back. Okay? Thank you. Because my belief system, this is my belief system, is that your body's consciousness is so powerful that it doesn't need your mind to tell it what to do. The mind actually, I say, messes it up actually a lot of the times. But if you allow the body to do what it has to do, it will repair itself very, very fast. And so I teach Qigong, basically, around the world. But what happens when you break your back and you can't move anything? What do? You breathe. Breathing is the most powerful healing energy you could possibly do. Okay, and there's a special breath that I'll actually teach you right now, because see, this is the thing with like Qigong masters and people that do healing. They're trying to tell you something. Here, I'm giving you a secret. These aren't secrets. This is how you operate. All right? We just have to remember how to do it. So we just breathe naturally, right? We don't think about breathing. When you think about breathing, you're actually connecting your breath to energy. So when your mind connects to breath, the breath turns to energy. Okay, so this is very important. So when I was lying in bed and I couldn't do Qigong, what you do is you breathe through your nose and you take a deep breath right into your stomach. So when you're breathing in, you push your stomach out, just like a baby. Like a baby breathes this way naturally. And why does a baby breathe this way? Because they're going through their growth spurt. They need as much energy as possible. Once they go through their growth spurt, they start breathing up here. All right? Because they don't need that energy anymore. So we have to start breathing again like a baby. But we have to attach the mind to it. So what we do is we breathe and we use our mind and we actually follow the breath from the nose and we follow it as it goes down right behind the belly button. And we push the stomach out. And then when we breathe out, we push the stomach in. And using the mind again, we get the air out through the nose. Now, your body gets very, very hot when you do this. All right? And you could do this very relaxed. And I'd just like you to just try it with me for even just a couple seconds so you just understand this. You just have to put the mind to the breath. So you follow it. And you're not thinking of anything. You're just following the actual air going right behind the belly button, pushing the stomach out. And as you exhale, you push the belly button in and you follow the air back out of your nose. And I know this sounds simple, but I'm telling you, this would probably be the strongest meditation you'll ever do. Because as you're turning the air into prana and you're putting it into the stomach, that energy starts to go through your meridian. So it starts to open up the meridian channels and all the channels of the body to have this kind of energetic flow. Who was here for Michael Tillinger? Okay. Did he talk about the torus field? Did he? Okay. Anyways, the electromagnetic field is this torus field around us. And as we start to breathe in this way, we're actually lighting up that field and we're strengthening it. So even though we can't move or we're not doing well, we're laying in bed, for example, we could just breathe in the proper manner and we could activate all those centers to strengthen and to bring that healing that universal energy through the body, which is very, very healing. And when I was doing the healing work, I also have a background in shamanism. So I studied with the Algonquin shaman. I've done medicine rites all over the world. And what the Algonquin shaman used to say is that the sensation of pain is actually the sensation of healing. And you shouldn't try to cut that sensation off. You should go into the pain and experience it fully. And that's always stuck with me. So when I start to do the breathing or the Qigong, when I'm injured or have to heal something, I'll start to feel pain in certain areas of my body, but I know that that's just the body healing itself and it has to go through that process and just continue going through it. So when I was in the hospital, I would do the breathing, I would feel the fire starting to build in the stomach, and then using the mind, I could take that fire and move it to the places of my body where I had broken bones, torn muscles, and I'm telling you, it was excruciating, the pain. Excruciating the pain. I refused all medication, by the way. It's excruciating pain. And I could literally feel things popping and clicking in my body. I felt muscles spasming and like the craziest things. And in my mind, I would think, this is what the body wants to do. Don't stop it. Let it go through its process. And this is why I believe I healed so quickly. You know, also I used other things as well. I didn't just use Qigong and breathing. I used magnetic therapies to boost the energetic field as well. Because as human beings, this is our natural environment, nature. Okay, we're not even supposed to be wearing clothes. Our feet need to touch that earth. All right, the earth has a negative potential, which is it's a pull. The air has a positive potential, which is like electricity. So when our feet are on the ground and our body, our physical body, is feeling the air of the atmosphere, you're creating a circuit of electricity, a powerful electromagnetic field, just by having the feet on the ground in nature. And all this process starts to happen to you. Unfortunately, we live in artificial environments, and we've forgotten this type of connection. You know, we come to mass meditations, we come to healers and shamans. Why? Because we want to feel a connection to spirit, right? We want to have an experience. I can't even tell you how many experiences I've had. But this, I'll break it down to the simplest terms. We are all masters in the spiritual world. All of us. We're all masters already. We're not here to master the spiritual. We are spiritual masters. We just have to remember that we are. What we're here for is to master the physical world. We have to master the physical body. So, like in Qigong, when you're working with the energy, you could have experiences. For example, you can see past lives. You can get memories coming back. You can get beings talking to you as you're doing Qigong. You know what the Qigong master says? Ignore it, let it go. Come back to the body. Okay, it's all about the body. In fact, when I was studying in Japan with the Zen Buddhist meditator, I'm like, well, what do you think about? Nothing. Well, what do you do? Sit. Okay? Be in your body. Experience it. And this is a sense that we've completely forgotten. We have forgotten how to feel ourselves, feel our bodies. Seriously, it's the most powerful thing. If I go and meditate now, all I'm doing is I'm just cutting everything out and I'm seeing what is my body feeling like. And as I can start to sensitize the body, I can start to feel where my blockages are. What's hurting, what's pulling, what's not in place. And just by sitting and being quiet with the body will unwind itself perfectly and put itself back in that natural position, right? So before we run out of time, geez, that went by fast. I want to quickly teach you the simplest exercise in the world, so simple, that will allow you to start. Who feels energy right now? Who feels energy in general? Oh, I don't need to teach you anything. Okay. But what I would like you to do, because you're sitting, it's the simplest exercise. You use that breathing technique that I taught you about. Okay, you're just breathing into the stomach and then breathing out. And as you do that, I want you to add your hands to it. So you just put your hands out in front of you like this. And when you breathe in and push your stomach out, you could slowly push your hands out. And then when you breathe out, you could slowly push your hands back in. But before I do this, I want to just say one more thing. Energy follows the circulatory system of your body because it's the iron in your blood. It's the magnetic fields. So energy, to feel energy, you need good circulation and blood flow. That's the secret of chi and energy. So if you want to feel energy with your hands, you know what you do? You shake your hands. You get blood to your hands. See? Giving away all the secrets. You know, some people will even just like clap or, you know, What was that? Master Miyagi from Karate Kid, remember? He's getting circulation to his hands, all right? So you just shake your hands, get the blood there, and then you just put your hands like this. And you breathe. And you may start to feel tingling. You may start to feel hot or cold. And I apologize for going fast on this, but I just really want to teach you this. You know how you see like pictures from like all the spiritual people, they have their fingers like this? You know, you see Jesus like this, you even see the devil like this, right? You see Egyptians like this, you see all Buddhist masters like this. What is this? This is the director of energy. When you put your fingers like this, you direct, you connect to energy, you direct energy. So watch. Just point your fingers at your hand and just hold it there. And then let's say go counterclockwise slowly. And then you can go clockwise. You can take it in, you take it out. And I know I'm going fast here, but who can feel the pressure, the connection? And when you move it, can you actually feel the magnetic field of the hand turning in those directions? So that's a chakra. The hand has a chakra. So you can actually do this to every chakra of your body. You could amplify, open up, cleanse chakras just by this, because when you put your finger in this position, you don't have to intend it to happen. See, this is the thing. There is no intention. When your body consciousness goes into a posture, it does what it's supposed to do, right? So you can practice by just holding fingers over your own body, and when it gets strong enough, it'll feel like a laser. It literally feels like a laser penetrating the hand, and as it penetrates, you can feel the meridians opening up, and you can feel that heat going through, and it's almost like branches. It's like going through the circuit. It's like these branches open up through the body. And sometimes it'll hit something in your body that's a pain, right? And that pain is a blockage or something that's not right. And if you hold it there, it'll start to break down and heal the blockage, which is painful, okay? We're all trying to avoid pain, but this is part of how the body works, okay? Now, I know I'm here for only an hour, and I know the time is already up. Is Jimmy here? Yeah. Maybe it's not. Jimmy's here? Oh, okay. I could literally talk the entire day to you about this subject. There's the bike. So, but what I want to say is I'm with Father Church right here at the, I don't want to say Father Church. You're too young for that.
Last night at the house, he begged me to ride this. Begged me. You want to go? You wanna
No, not at all.
You wanna...
But I'm with Jimmy at the Fade to Black booth. It's just around the corner here, and I can answer any questions you have. And I also brought some really cool crystals and books of teaching the Qigong I learned from those masters. And the book Forbidden Knowledge, which he's talking about, is me talking about what I learned, what I just shared with you. And with that, I hope you really enjoyed the talk and learned something new and interesting. All right? Thank you.